order in which I have you all. And let's start with Becky with the good hair. And
She did not. She's wrong. She's very wrong there.
She's so wrong.
I've never had a chance to do that.
Wow.
Take advantage.
Let's start with you, Becky Carney, and a 1 minute opening statement, please.
Yeah. Microphone, Becky.
Sorry, I raised 6 kids. Good evening, everyone. I am Becky Carney. I serve you in House District 102. I've served you on the County Commission at large. I have been with you in this fight for equity for all, for upward mobility, for affordable housing, for education, for many numerous things, and also to keep it at an affordable rate for people with our taxes. But I am not through. I am fighting for you. I have been fighting through numerous things in my 22 years of service to you all. And it is public service. I'm not in it for me. I'm in it for the people. And I can tell you that it means so much to me to have all the support that I have in Raleigh. I thank you. I look forward to your endorsement. I'm asking for that tonight. I've been proud to have that in my past campaigns. And I just add to others that I have received. Thank you so much.
Anthony Foreman.
Good evening, family. How's everybody doing?
Great.
Thank you for having me. My name is Anthony E. Foreman. I come with a wealth of experience, and I'm here running for North Carolina House 102. I come from working with a congressman for 5 to 10 years, where I learned how to work with all levels of government. I want to use my experience to be able to build coalitions and get as much work done as I can in the district that we are living in and the one that I'm going to be serving. One of the things that I want to do, I want to build it. We're talking about taking back the house. I want to work to build coalitions between the Black and the Latino community so that we could make our vote stronger and be able to turn the house in the near future.
Thank you, sir. Jonathan Peebles.
Good evening, BBC family. My name is Jonathan Peebles, and I'm running to represent you in the North Carolina House District 102. And I'm running because I believe working for a living should be a livable wage. That all children deserve a quality education, and regardless of background, all North Carolinians deserve the security of knowing that housing and healthcare will not come with an enormous financial burden. But I'm also running because we've had the same representation for almost the past 20 years. And in that time, we've seen increased gentrification, decrease in affordable housing, our minimum wage is still $7.25, and there's growing disparities between white and brown and Black kids. And it's time that we hold our elected officials accountable. Again, when we have an elected official that's been around for 20 years, when do we say enough is enough?
Thank you, sir. And Kyle Kirby.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kyle Kirby, and I'm running for House District 102. I want most of you to know that I have a lot in common with you all. I've come from a broken home. I came from a single-parent family. I'm in debt for college. I am a renter, and I struggle with
just come on off stage now, bro.
living in Charlotte, North Carolina. I've lived in the 102nd District almost all of my life. And to those people in the 102nd District, when I decided to run for this seat, I asked them what was important to them as regular, everyday people that we see on the streets. And to them, these are the things which are important and the things which will be important to me. Economic development, lowering the cost of health care, the student loan debt crisis, improving public education and teacher pay, LGBTQ+ rights, the legalization, taxation, and regulation of marijuana, and overdevelopment and housing affordability in Charlotte. Kyle Kirby for House 102.
And last and certainly not least, Mr. Leroy Dean.
Thank you. Just thank you all for having me. My name is Leroy Dean, and I'm running for District 102. I've given the last 25 years of my life to public service in the form of pastoral duties. And I was ordained minister by Mouthpiece Association. And I've had an opportunity to see how this affordable housing crisis has caused many parents to have to receive their children back home. I've seen many families broken up down in the shelters. And on a cold night like tonight, we noticed that many people don't have a warm place to live. And so one of the reasons why I decided to run was I was deeply perplexed by the audacity to try to take away my voting rights. And I want to maintain the amendment, the 15th Amendment that was given to all people, especially people of color, that we can still be able to vote. Thank you.
Ms. Carney, one of your opponents, Mr. Foreman, he's pushing for a universal pre-K and standards that will better prepare them for succeeding in the next grade levels. He's also pushing a bill to incorporate a more robust focus on African American history in the classroom. How would your approach to these issues, and how would you approach these issues he's advancing?
Well, thank you for the question. And as far as universal pre-K goes, I've sponsored and we have passed funding and got funding in the budget for universal pre-K. It's so important. Our county commission has made that a big effort here for them, and they have funded that too. And the other part, I'm sorry.
He's pushing for African American studies in the classroom.
Thank you. We had two history courses that students were required for graduation. And what happened this year in the General Assembly is we removed one of those and we put in a financial planning class for students. So teachers came out against that because we're cutting back on those opportunities for educating our kids on from a historical perspective. And certainly within that was African American studies. They're all going to be impacted by this change that we have made of graduation requirements for our students.
And Mr. Foreman, your opponent, Ms. Carney, she is touting, of course, arts education as a pathway to success for our children. Juxtaposing arts education with African American studies, if you had your druthers, which would you choose if the district could only provide one of those classroom programs?
Did you repeat the question?
Okay. If you had your druthers, which would you choose if any of the districts could only incorporate one of these programs, African American history or arts and education?
Definitely African American history. I find yesterday was Martin Luther King's birthday and we were celebrating it. And I find that if there's a lack of education in terms of African American history that we have to take a look at. I work in an after-school program, and you ask the kids about Martin Luther King, they don't know who he is. Marcus Garvey, they don't know who it is. And we go on and on and on. Our kids are losing the fact that they have individuals that fought for all of us to be sitting here in the position that we're sitting in, and we got to get back to that. We got to get back to basic. We have to teach our kids where they come from and the responsibility that they have, and most importantly, for them to understand that loving each other comes from knowing your history. You don't know where you're going unless you know where you came from.
Ms. Carney, I'll give you a second to respond.
Thank you. Arts education is a requirement. I've passed that bill, the House passed it almost unanimously 3 terms. It's gone to the Senate and it's sitting there again. It's still alive. We can bring it back. I will tell you that at the core of everything we do in our society is based on the arts. I also got put in there that when you're a student in our universities, that it is going to be required that you are taught before you become a teacher how to incorporate into a core curriculum arts education. Don't tell me it's not important. We had bipartisan support. We had African American legislators. We had all people supporting this in the legislature. It's the basis of our foundation as a society.
We have a question for all of the candidates who are running against you, Ms. Carney, and that is asking the new candidates, do you have an agenda or focus for fighting for the poor, women, and Black people?
So that is my whole entire agenda. is fighting for the working class and the poor. And that's why you see 4 other people on the stage tonight, is because they've been left behind. We're struggling with affordable housing. Last year in Mecklenburg County, we had almost 30,000 people evicted from their homes. Our minimum wage is still $7.25. About 20 other states this past year increased theirs. And then the growing disparity in our public education. When North Carolina is spending a little over $9,000 per pupil spending, but Washington D.C. is spending almost $21,000, that's a problem. And that's why, again, you see 4 people up here running to represent this district. And that's why I'm up here fighting for the poor, working class, and women.
Yes, sir.
So, one of the key factors is we have to take into consideration that all of this roots back to education. Education is extremely important. We have to reinstate master's pay. We have to offer free pre-K to our children. And we also have to realize that sometimes college is not for everyone, and we have to give our students options like trade schools, learning how to make a living without having to have a college degree. There is numerous folks out there providing for our communities, black, brown, otherwise, that are providing small business, jobs, economic opportunity for people that wouldn't have it otherwise. So by supporting our educators, supporting free pre-K, building those people up that have small businesses in our communities, that is the basis of how we can help our neighbors overcome poverty and racial lines, and we have to embrace that.
Pastor? Oh, yes, and asking about your agenda that you have for the poor, for women, and for black folks.
Yes, when I look around the room, I see federal representatives, state representatives, local representatives. And right here's the key to where we can address the affordable house crisis. You know, I believe that government does play a role, you know, in the lives of individuals. And I look at government through a positive set of lenses. I come from Dalton Village. I was raised up in government housing. I went to Earl C. Clemens Job Corps. I received a GED plus college training plus a skill. So government has played a big role in my life, and I believe that if we were to project to others that, hey, government does have a role instead of government being something negative, then I believe we can overcome a lot of these things. Now, what I like to do is to see a greater state footprint, you know, in District 102, you know, in reference to our local representatives and our federal representatives. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll tell you something, family. I'm not here to sugarcoat anything, to give you the regular old lingo, political lingo. I'm gonna tell you exactly how I feel. When you're talking about the poor, I'm one of the poor. Most of you are one of the poor. I'm advocating for $15 wage increase. I'm advocating for Medicare for all. And I'm advocating to support seniors when it comes to gentrification. We are being displaced, we are under attack, and if you don't believe it, go to some of our neighborhoods and you'll know why I'm fighting for all those things.
We'll give you the opportunity to respond.
Well, thank you for that. I have, go to my website. I'm going to defend my time in office. I'm proud of it because I have been fighting for minimum wage increase. When I went to Raleigh for the first 8 years, every year we voted to incrementally increase teacher pay. And when the recession hit, we were pretty much close to getting to the national average. The recession hit, and then there was a change in the majority. And from that day, 10 years to now, we still are not where we were pre-recession time in funding education. I'm not quitting on that. As far as being in the neighborhoods and being here, I have been in Raleigh fighting. We have become, by the majority rule now, a full-time legislature. We are usually out in July in the first year of our term, and we were out in December, and we went back in January, and we are going back. As far as the poor, minimum wage is where it starts, but in education, increasing minimum wage, education is the root of the foundation for all.
We're now going to give each of you 1 minute to give your closing statements in the interest of time as we need to keep moving. So again, that 1 minute, so please pay attention to the time cues. We'll start from my left. Oh no, okay. Oh, sorry. Rewind. I do have a question, and I wasn't sure I would have time to ask it, and it's for Mr. Kirby. In your initial statements, you talked about how you related to, we'll just say, the folks in this room. And the things that you itemized, please just, okay, for the purposes, right, what you said, sir, the things that you listed, got a bit of a visceral reaction from the crowd. And I'm just wondering, when you were laying out how it is you plan to connect with the constituents that you hope to represent, why you chose the ones that you did, coming from a broken home, student loan debt, all of these sorts of things, when there could have been other things that you said that perhaps would have given you a different reaction, as this is your introduction to the folks you hope to represent.
Well, because everything I just said to you folks is the absolute honest truth. I did come from a broken home. I grew up with a single mother family. I'm in debt for school, and I'm a renter. And you know what? The vast majority of millennial peoples, black, brown, white, otherwise, are in the same boat as I am. And it's simply time that us, as a group, as human beings, as Charlotteans, we get over issues that divide us, and that we build bridges to communities, and we include people under these tents. Because listen, I'm not going to sit up here and tell you how great I am. I want to sit up here and tell you how much of a human being I am. And these are the issues that are so important, so dramatic to the situation that thousands of Charlotteans are in. And people, I want you all to know that no matter what kind of family you grew up in, what kind of home you came from, the sky is the limit. As long as you believe in yourself, you can be sitting up here on a dais one day running for state office to make a difference in your community. That's why I said those things, and that's why I picked those things to say.
Thank you, sir. Just wanted to give you the opportunity because I saw the reaction. Okay. We're now going to have the opening, or the closing statements, I should say. And again, each of you have 1 minute, and we'll start from the far end of the dais and move back toward the moderator's table. So I believe that we begin with Mr. Foreman.
Thank you so much. I am here to share with you what some of my experiences are, and I'll take a minute. It's longer than that. But when I moved here to Charlotte, I started working automatically, helping out the Congresswoman. I got involved in the politics because that's where I come from. And I found certain areas that I felt that I could help with. I currently work with Action and C. Just came from Washington advocating for some grants. Aside from Action and C, I have a nonprofit organization where we started a PBA called Reanimation's Work, where we're working on putting reentry people to go to work. That's to prevent the reoccurrence of recidivism, something that is needed highly here in Charlotte.
Again, my name is Jonathan Peebles, and I'm a longtime public servant. I'm a director of a nonprofit here in Charlotte. I've been president of the Young Democrats of Mecklenburg County, and I've served on multiple boards. And what I'm asking for is your endorsement. I've been to many of our BPC meetings when we said that we want to hold our elected officials accountable, and this is your opportunity to elect someone that looks like you and who's going to fight for you. I'm going to fight for an inclusionary zoning policy. I'm going to fight for a $15 minimum wage, and I'm going to fight to increase our per pupil spending. Again, we cannot allow our elected officials to come to our community every 2 years and ask for our support. And that's, again, why I'm asking for your endorsement to unify around me to take this fight to the Republicans in Raleigh. Thank you.
Representative Carney.
Thank you, and thank you to the Black Political Caucus for having us tonight. I want to ask for your endorsement, as I have had in the past. I'm asking for it again. I am a voice of reason. I'm an effective leader, and have experience. And at this day and time, we need that more than ever. And when we do take back the House, and we will, we need 6 seats to flip, and it's happening. When we take back the House, we're going to need people on the ground that have had the experience to get us rolling and take back the things that have been torn down over 10 years. That's not going to happen overnight with people that are new there and that are learning the ropes and that are trying to get known and be effective. I am your voice of experience. I'm your voice of reason, and I am here for you. If I haven't been in the district as much as you think I have, again, I've been in Raleigh. And I am there for the people. I hear from them all the time. I have responded, and anything that I have voted for has been because the district has asked me to vote for it and the people of Charlotte. Thank you again. I ask for your endorsement.
Kyle Kirby.
First of all, I want to thank the BPC for having us here this evening, and thank you to all of you that came here tonight, because I can tell that everybody in this room cares about the community that they live in. And I just want you all to know that I love each and every one of y'all as my neighbors and my fellow Charlotteans. And I also want you all to know that I have no grand illusions about being able to win 102 as a Republican candidate, but that is a freeing thing. That allows me to talk about issues that otherwise wouldn't be talked about. That allows me to bring marijuana legalization that incarcerates so many black and brown folks to the forefront of my campaign. That allows us to open up an entire new revenue source that can be used to pay for our teachers' pay increases, pay for free pre-K, help us to regain our place as a progressive city in the state of North Carolina, and to help us regain our place as a progressive state in the Southeast. Remember me, I'm Kyle Kirby, I'm running for House District 102, and thank you all for your time this evening.
Yes, I like win, lose, or draw. I believe in being a good constituent. I believe in supporting whoever wins. I believe in supporting public leaders. And the many of you in this room, I've kept up with your voting record, even Ms. Carter. I'm proud to be at your station. In Charlotte, we're facing a lot of difficult issues, but I believe that we can solve them. And I love to see us do something on immigration reform, as a state. I love to see us do more on affordable housing. I love to see us do something on tax relief. And I believe we can do all these things. And I continue to push for positive change. But by no means, when I stand up here and say that I've seen a bad representative in none of this room, because you all have done a fantastic job. And I do thank God for each and every one of you. Thank you for having me.
Very nice. Thank you very much.